How did the UN define terrorism?
Well, technically, the United Nations so far has not been able to define terrorism.
Since defining the threat is so important to fighting it, I thought to myself, how could I help the UN find a definition for terrorism? Do you have anything that has like a definition for a word?
Like a dictionary?
That's right.
Right behind you.
Excellent. Thanks, man.
Well, that's a scene from You and Me, which dares to ask if the United Nations is fulfilling its lofty ideals. Our next guest set out to answer that question with little filmmaking experience. Ami Horowitz wanted to know what the UN is actually doing, or in many cases not doing, around the globe. The result is You and Me. Ami joins us now on Scoreboard. Great to see you. We should mention, by the way, you were a banker. You left that life of Lehman Brothers. You were working for Lehman Brothers?
I worked for Lehman.
To become a filmmaker, and I imagine you're having more fun, right?
I never had more fun in my entire life. And by the way, no experience. I mean, I've seen a lot of movies. That's about it.
Well, a lot of filmmakers with experience do a worse job than you did. But here's a shot of you actually walking into the UN. You actually went into the General Assembly. Didn't anybody try to stop you?
Security Council. We had unprecedented access at the UN.
Wait a minute, unprecedented access, but you weren't offered that access, were you? You took it.
No, we were actually.
You were?
Well, there's a little
because getting into that big General Assembly room is very, very difficult.
I am well aware of that.
So how did you do it?
Secret sauce.
Secret sauce. All right, you're not willing to go into it. But what did you find, Dorothy?
There's one major media mogul out there who's very upset with me.
Aha.
Well, I'll leave it at that.
A media mogul who may have a connection to the UN?
Maybe.
Okay. Bottom line is, when you see the head of terror, he was the director, that guy that we saw, director of terrorism.
That's right.
And he has no definition for terrorism.
None of them do.
What does that tell you about the UN?
You know, what it tells me is they're not idiots, right? I mean, they could pick up a Webster dictionary like the one that I showed them on camera. But it's an issue of they don't want to define it. Because in that case, you're recognizing evil. And they refuse to recognize evil, for the most part, because it's made up of a lot of evil countries.
And evil is a relative term, and they will not deal in absolutes. They only deal in relativity because, as you say, they have to work there. They have to work in these places.
That's right.
And sometimes, by the way, that work is not bad. You have pictures of them partying in some of these places as well, right?
Yeah, we were in West Africa, in Cote d'Ivoire, with a lot of underage women, a lot of booze. It was a good time for all, and not so much for the women, but...
these are prostitutes. Let's call it what it is.
Mostly underage prostitutes.
Underage prostitutes, and these are UN peacekeepers that are doing a party.
Oh yeah, and this is nothing. I mean, we show there's peacekeeper rapes. I mean, these people, we're talking about young children, 10, 11 years old. Well, they'll offer them some peanut butter for sex, or in some cases just outright rape. I mean, it is in the culture of peacekeeping, unfortunately, to behave in this kind of way.
First of all, how did you get funding for this film?
You know, a lot of people who to this day don't understand why they gave me a single dollar, gave me a couple $1 million, and we made it.
So $2 million allowed you to go around to see the various operations. Is there anything that you saw that the UN is doing that is honorable and worthwhile?
Absolutely. I mean, what they do with food distribution, with water purification, with health care and immunizations, I mean, they really are the world leader on things like this, and they should be lauded. In the movie, we do talk about it. But unfortunately, outside of that, and the world would, listen, if the UN wasn't here, there would be other bodies filling that in. Probably, if you want to nitpick, probably even better, and doing a better job. But they do a fine job of that. But unfortunately, when it comes to issues like security, like the backbone of why this place was created, utter failure.
Now, I don't know if you saw the Acorn tapes, the tapes going in. It's the same kind of guerrilla.
She was cute.
This is, she was indeed, but it's the same kind of guerrilla filmmaking that you do, right? I mean,
in a sense, yes, absolutely.
You sort of spring it on people, a little bit like Michael Moore, but more conservative Michael Moore.
Well, but with integrity. I mean, in the sense that...
Anybody to the right of Lenin would be more conservative than Michael Moore, but...
Fair enough. And by the way, Michael lives in my building. And I use a lot of his writers, a lot of his team.
Wait a minute, Michael, the man of the poor, lives in a building that an ex-Lehman banker lives in?
He put 3 apartments together to form a very...
3 apartments? How much would that cost? How much were those apartments going for?
A few $1 million.
A few million. So he's got,
Come on, why not? He deserves it. He made a movie. I have no problem with it. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, well, he claims he loves capitalism. So, well, you are becoming a real thorn in the side of the UN, because it wasn't only this film. You're sort of going going around to various places where they were. You were in Geneva recently.
We were in Geneva where they had arrested me for me causing...
You were arrested?
Well, the UN arrested. They detained me in a room and kept me there, trying to have the Swiss put me in jail, which obviously weren't going to do. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with these guys. And they're an easy target. I took advantage of it. And by the way, let's not forget, we spend $6 billion almost every year, almost $6 billion. And it's not, this is a business show, right? Your tagline is buy, sell, hold.
That's right.
Yeah, sell.
Okay.
That's $6 billion, not a good investment.
$6 billion, bad investment. You and Me pay for all that. And You and Me is the name of the film. When does it come out? 4 months?
It's going to come out sometime the first quarter of next year.
We'll be watching. Ami Horowitz, congratulations. Good stuff.
Thanks for having me, David.
Coming up on deck, how low should he go?